Let me turn that off.
Turn that on. And how about that? Now we have sound. We had sound on Instagram and Facebook, but not on YouTube. Because you have to turn things on. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Turn things on, plug things in.
Yes. Okay. All right. House Family Fitness is located in Pelham, 3154 Highway 52 West. You can call me, 205-542-1626. You can email Mike at House Family Fitness. You can do Facebook. You can do Instagram, smoke signals. Can't tell DC, or I'm sorry, Dirtbag, because he's stuck in the snow.
He said they dug out there on the way back.
Oh, yeah.
I just talked to him right before I talked to you.
All right. Yeah.
Applebee's.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I wasn't going to bring that up. The fact
that's
that
going to Shoney's first.
yeah, Shoney's. Yeah. Well, that was first, and then they go Shoney's afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's Waffle's favorite place.
Oh, indeed.
But since we have no cohort today, we'll use Millie. So Millie's the dirtbag dog runner this week, or the trail dog. But we do have a special guest, Don the Man Lepoard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
I think most everybody knows me that's probably watching.
Yeah, all 5 continents that watch live right now. Yeah.
There you go. I have worn that on Facebook. Act like I was going to watch, didn't we?
Yes. You just turn it on so we get more people on there, right?
I guess. Yeah, I tried to.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So it's going to be a little bit different today since we don't have the cohort, because I don't like snoop and try to find out information about people. I just like to talk to them.
Okay.
So we'll just roll with it. Just whatever happens, happens.
Mona said, "What are you going to talk about?" I said, "Whatever they ask me about."
Yes. The answer is yes.
Well, maybe I have to have a call-in session or something like that.
Oh, no. We got plenty of studio audience.
Yeah, I figured.
You know, it's a special occasion.
Oh, okay.
Because Don's got his coat on.
A special occasion. What was it? Oh,
I
wait.
did wear my
Points champion.
back in 1917
To
27.
1907 is when he won his first championship.
That's how old I feel, but
You don't look old.
I don't. Good.
Mm.
I try not to, but
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
The-
Grecian formula, right?
right. I don't know. A lot of people ask me when I started running. I ran back in high school.
Like you ran track in high school?
I ran cross country
Cross
in
country?
high school, and then I ran a few marathons, even like my junior and senior year in high school, and
Oh,
a
wow.
couple right outside of high school.
You don't hear that very often.
No, not in
marathoners in high school. No.
I loved it, but then I quit running. For
Well, you
30
want to
years.
mention where you went to high school, or is that like
It's
still locked up under
Somebody
secret?
might know. It's Springville High School,
Okay.
Alabama,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
where I live.
That's where. Yeah. That's
I live about 7 miles from where I
secondary God's country, because we got Montevallo is God's country, then secondary God's country
There
out
you
there in Springville. Or is it Springville or Springville?
grew up. Springville.
Springville. It's not Springville.
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 It depends who you
Yeah.
ask, right?
What marathons was it? It was every time it was at the time now it's Mercedes Marathon, but at the time it was Vulcan Marathon.
Yes.
And the race started at the Vulcan and went down off the backside, and then you finished over at the same place they finish now.
Okay.
I didn't release the name use. So Vulcan.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, if they ever have anything in Birmingham again,
You're expecting a nice check then?
Yeah.
I'm waiting on it still. Yes.
Yeah,
And I will
you need
continue to wait on it and continue.
to. Need to.
So you started out in high school running because you enjoyed it. You did cross country, which is usually 5Ks.
Yes.
So cross country is a little bit different than trail running
Right.
because the wife, she coaches, or last year's her first year coaching cross country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the spirit of thing, it's not a track.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's trail running. It's improved surface, maybe sometimes little gravelly
It's not
roads,
like-
pasture.
It's not a trail, but they get some heck of a hills out there on them golf
Oh, yeah.
courses.
So you're in golf courses. Yeah.
Mostly, yeah, pretty much the state meets for golf courses.
Did you ever do the Jesse Owens? That sound familiar?
No, that was after that come after
Color TV
83.
and stuff like that.
After 83. AD or BC or whatever you want to say.
The I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
I have an interesting one. So, Don, in 1983, I'm going to say Springville was a very different place than it is today.
Oh, it's a lot different. I mean, we knew everybody I went to school with, not just in my grade, the grade below me, the grade above me. Maybe 2 grades each direction.
How many people did you graduate with?
55.
Now,
That's like classroom size now, I think.
So I'm just saying, like, what was your family's like? What were your parents doing? Like your dad, what job did he have?
He was, well, my last couple of years of high school, he built cabinets. And then he went into building houses. And that's where I got started building houses.
Straight out of high school, you started like working on
Soon as right after, well, actually a couple of summers before I got out of high school, but as soon as I got out of high school, I went straight to framing houses in 83.
I mean, I only bring that up because, and this is kind of a stereotype, but then if you were in a place where your family is working and working for themselves, you were working for them.
Yeah.
And so I'm just curious how you carved out the time for track and things like that in a situation where you're probably asked to help out more at home than kids are asked to do.
and run marathons too.
Yeah.
In high school,
I really didn't have to work like in the afternoon, other than in the garden in the afternoons and stuff. But like on the weekends, I worked every weekend. At one time, my dad was hauling logs for my granddad. So we would go out, cut the trees down, hook them behind the tractor, drag them out to the truck, roll them by hand up onto the truck, and then haul them to the sawmill. So that was probably some of the toughest work.
cross training.
Yeah.
Way before his time. Way before his
He
time.
said roll logs up onto the truck. That's
It wasn't
There's
real
no-
bad.
no
You
skid
parked the
steer.
truck downhill, and you had you would cut poles and lay them up on the truck like a ramp and roll up that log. But you park the truck down the hill.
So we're going to make an editorial comment here. That's the first time that Don said it's not so bad.
First, yes.
He minimizes lots of
Since
stuff.
1983. That's the first. That's the second time.
He minimizes. Oh no! It's like I was just throwing up.
You can go ahead and get you a frosty beverage there and
Well, that's
hold
the
it up
only
for,
way you could get
for sponsorship opportunities.
only way you
And
could
make sure the
get
label's facing this way.
only way
Get
you
all
could
3 cameras.
Get money to go out on the dates if you worked.
Imagine that. Craziness.
Wasn't any loans or allowances.
wow.
Allowances.
Allowances you had to work. If you want to do something or go somewhere.
Got you a paycheck.
Work conference.
So you started cross country track. You ran track too, like normal track?
Yes.
Yes. Did you continue all the way? Was there any dark years in there that you didn't run? Like you just said, the hell with it? Or you just always been that way since 19?
Well, I was in the
83.
band for a while, and then I really didn't like that a whole lot. So I finally got out of there and went to running track. Tried football a little bit, decided I was too small for that. But I ran track, cross country, pretty much last 3 years of school or so.
So you got out, you got out of high school.
Mhm.
You started like working all the time, and you still ran, still did. I guess you did Vulcan, Mercedes, or not Mercedes, Vulcan. Did you do other small races or?
I did lots of 5Ks and 10Ks, mostly 10Ks. I've done several of those, like around Trustful and Birmingham and Aniana, and I'm trying to think where all that's. Just a bunch of 5Ks or 10Ks actually.
So when did you get the first ultra? You remember? I'm sure you always remember your first.
I guess would have been my 50 miler I did at Lake Martin in 2018. No, it wasn't.
No, it
either.
had to be before that because you've run longer distance at Lake
Wait,
Martin a few
I'm
times.
wrong there. I think of Lake Martin because that's where I advanced all my distances. My first ultra was in Georgia at close to Blue Ridge. Well, it was in Blue Ridge, and it's called Tortoise and the Hare.
Okay.
And a buddy of mine and I decided we'd go over there and do a 50K. I thought, well, it's not much further than a marathon. Surely we can do that.
Yeah, so Tortoise and the Hare, that's the deal where the slow people start first and faster, so everybody tries to finish at the same time.
Right.
That's the whole idea.
That's right.
Did it work out?
Well, I beat a lot of the slow ones. So I beat my buddy, and he started 2 hours before I did. So
That
But-
shocks me. How much? None.
None.
Yes. None. No.
it's
I wouldn't be surprised if Don had carried him.
I was
The last one.
aggravated.
Yeah,
I mean, it
Don
took me
was,
like
he was a little off. Probably had the flu.
7 or 8 hours. I don't remember how long it took me. I was really aggravated with my time though, because you come off from running a marathon and you thinking 4 hours, and then all of a sudden it's taking you 7 or 8 hours to go 6 more miles or 5 more miles.
Yeah.
And I was pretty aggravated with. I thought, dang,
It's like it's a whole different sport, isn't it?
it is.
So Don, was that your first trail race?
Yes, first trail, first. I mean, yeah, I went
So-
straight from pavement. To
What is the deal? You know, past 3 guests we've had. It's like your first trail race. I don't know. I did a 50K. Yeah, just jump in. Let's go
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people go into it thinking, I've done marathons. What's 5 more miles? I think a lot of people do that. I try and tell the road people. People ask. And you try and warn them or tell them.
Well, that is a lot shocking for people that do. Like you came off running road marathons, 5Ks,
Mhm.
10Ks, and
Right.
then let's go ultra. Let's run a trail. So your times are a little different, right?
Right. Oh yeah. And
Yeah,
I never
even your
considered
marathon
it an
time.
ultra.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, was. I'm sure you don't remember, but it was probably slower than running through Birmingham.
Yeah, my fastest marathon time was in that year of 85, and it was
85.
3 hours and 15 minutes or something like that.
I think where I was in 85. It would have been, let's see.
It's junior high, right?
Yeah, Simmons Middle School.
Oh, come on now.
Oh, come on.
I'm going, I'm out of the Army. I'm at Auburn right now. 85 is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so different times.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. So, but you've done many ultras now, right? How many times have you been at Lake Martin? I mean, how many times have you ran Lake Martin?
3 times.
Just 3 times?
I'm pretty sure it's been just 3 times. I did a 50 mile the first year and then 200 miles. And then they canceled this past
Well,
year.
the summer of COVID
Yeah.
was no good. So the great experience we had was your second time at Lake Martin running the 100 when we thought he was dying after he had the purple Gatorade. Yes.
That was probably the roughest.
It doesn't change
time.
colors when it comes back, just so y'all know.
Well, not at the exchange rate Don was doing.
No, it didn't stay in there long enough to
Did not
change
stay
colors.
in there long.
Just
I
got
don't
to
know if
taste
it got
it.
down all the way.
Don't need that anymore.
More like a flush, really.
Hopefully I got just a little bit of it or something. Hopefully I got to keep. Well, I don't know. You couldn't tell that I kept any of it the way it was coming back up.
It was the beginning of spring break 95. And if you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Good times.
It was probably the toughest 100 that I ever finished with what I had to go through in that race.
So how many hundreds have you completed?
5.
5. 2 at Lake Martin, Blood Rock
Blood Rock twice,
twice. Okay.
and then Endless Mile.
Yeah, that was Endless Mile this year. Yeah.
With a broken back.
We'll get into that. We
I had a couple months rest.
had a couple months rest. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
a
was.
couple weeks.
He was what, 6 weeks?
I think
6,
I
8
was
weeks?
something like that. 6 weeks
Yeah.
now.
Hell, I ain't been doing nothing.
His line of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all rested.
hadn't had no exercise, so I might as well go out and run 100. So
Yeah. You were well rested.
that's right.
Yes.
Mhm.
You
Some-
tapered. Yes.
Yeah, for a long time.
Yes. Because
I'd almost tired of tapering.
Have you ever done the Endless Mile before?
I had attempted it one other time a couple of years ago. My goal in that race was to do 100 miles in 24 hours. I started the race, pretty good pace. And about 2 or 3 in the morning, I thought, well, I'm about 20 minutes ahead of schedule. I think I'll lay down and take me a nap.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was cold.
Mhm.
Didn't get warm, so I went and got in the truck, turned the heat on. 3 hours later, I get up and my goal is shot.
Well, anybody doesn't know, Endless Mile is a 1 mile loop here in close to God's Country, Alabaster, on Veterans Park that David, Universe's best race director, puts on. And you can do 6, 12, 24, or 48 hours, and you just do the loop every time. It's certified 1 mile within, and it's actually within 13 feet. That's how close it is. He had it
I
started.
knew it was real fun.
Yeah, it's like 13 feet.
It's 1.0 something.
1.0013 something.
Yeah.
Y'all do the math, engineers. Yeah. Quick.
It's close.
It's Sunday. Yeah, it's close. Yeah. Well, let's look. Let's go back to our hundreds, since we know Don runs 100 with a broken back, then takes a little time off, and then runs another 100 right after that. Within what, 2 months?
2 months.
Yeah.
I was supposed to run the Pinhoti in between the two, and I decided from my time I had at Endless Mile that I couldn't make the cutoff time at Pinhoti. So
It's a bit hard to get the crew to carry your back brace. Probably it's probably the issue. They were like, "Yeah, no, we're not going to do that." So of all the hundreds, give you this question: rank the best one, as far as everything went as planned, and then the worst one was like, "What the hell was I doing?"
it's sort of toss up on which ones went the best. The very first one I did,
Which was
Lake Martin.
Lake Martin, 2017, 18 ish. Gets all blurry.
2018.
Okay.
Well, went exceptionally well, being it was my first one. I didn't have any issues, no cramps, no stomach issues or anything for that whole race. Finished it in like 28 hours, which is the fastest I had finished any of my 100-mile races.
Okay.
But then I could say the same thing pretty much for Blood Rock 100 this past December. Everything went pretty good, better than I had expected.
Everything just kind of fell in line. There was there's always something hard, but
Right. Oh, yeah. I was trying to think what really was hard about that race. I think probably the toughest part's just making myself run when I should have been running.
just keep falling forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the worst? Or is there a worst? Yeah.
When you finished with them, they're all pretty good. You don't even worry about what happened during.
Would it be Lake Martin again being the worst 100 experience just because of the illness?
Actually, probably the worst one I had was Pinhoti a couple years ago. And what I didn't like about that is because I dropped at about mile 27, somewhere in there. At the time, I was sick. I was throwing up. I felt about as bad as I did at the Lake Martin one that we talked about a minute ago. But to me, the worst part about any of it was just dropping. At the time when I dropped the Pinhoti, I didn't know that I could actually get through that, which I found out later at Lake Martin.
Yeah. Well, it's a little easier at Lake Martin. Yeah, 'cause you get to see your campsite several times.
Yeah, that. You got a little bit longer cutoff at Lake Martin. So.
Yeah, I have to give props to the studio audience for the lighting, because you can actually see Millie on camera.
Yeah,
and that's actually does something, because you can't take a picture of the ninja here.
I think not only me, I think other people that we hang out with. Don, you sister are badass, and I'd like to know where that comes from. That resolve that I'm going to make this happen. I see that in you, and I saw that from the first time that I ever ran anywhere. Just going, oh, dang, badass.
Mm-hmm.
So,
where does the badassery come from?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty mild mannered, man. It's like
Yeah, he's pretty chill. He's about stoic. He's like just such. It'd be all right.
I don't know. I really don't consider myself that. I think everybody out there, pretty much our whole group, would fit in that category. To tell you the truth, if it's even just as part as helping the other person finish.
Well, except for snow. I'm just going to interject that in there. Snow, prevents things from happening.
Yeah.
Well, I
That's a
haven't
little
dealt
gouge
with
at
that
some
yet.
people that aren't here yet.
I haven't dealt with the snows. But, you know, it's just like the Lake Martin that I struggled to get through. If all of y'all hadn't been there, or if I hadn't had y'all pushing me, it'd been another DNF because I would have dropped.
At that point in my life, I was no help.
You know, my point on that is like people can tell you all day long, but I've seen people when you talk to them and they've decided they've quit, you can tell you're not convincing them to quit. And I've just never seen you with like no quitting.
There's no talking him out. It's
Yeah.
like you have to talk him
My
back
favorite-
into it. Yeah.
My favorite thing you like to say is like, you know, it's not your job to get like pulled from races. The race's
Right.
job to pull you out.
Yeah, I
And
saw,
Don's like follows. That's like, he's my example for that. It's like,
yeah, I saw that comment the other day, and that's a pretty good comment. I haven't never really thought about it like that, but that's the truth.
it's like,
That it's the race director's job to pull you from the race.
not mine. But
Yeah. Times, cutoffs.
I'm eating all those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches till they get me out of there.
Or somebody gives you a cup of coffee. Here you go. Man.
Yeah,
He said I could have the coffee.
I don't consider it. I mean, myself any more. I mean, you set out to do a goal, just like Jack doing Lake Martin 100. You set out to do that goal and you work towards it. Pretty much, as long as you keep in your mind whatever comes up. Like I tell everybody, there's obstacles going to come up.
Mhm.
There's a way to get past all of them. You just got to figure out how to get past it. And that's what I try and tell everybody going into an ultra. No matter what the distance is, things are going to happen. Especially the longer you get, the 100-milers, something's going to happen.
Mhm.
Something's going to come up.
It's not all rainbows and butterflies, right?
That's not normal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
something you're going to deal with, and you just got to figure out, you know, what's the solution to that problem to get past it. I mean, there's lots of. I mean, it just you got to keep.
We should
going
save
like
that for
everybody
later
said.
for just the tip. I mean, but,
Good
yeah, we're going to have
take
to really put him on the spot then.
So you've done like all the races you've done in local. Now we all know that you work with Ragnar.
I was going to bring that up.
and go all over the place, right?
Uh-huh.
How in your travels you haven't found a race outside of like within driving distance that you wanted to do?
Oh, there's lots of them I'd love to do. I mean, I'd love to go do Leadville or, you know, several of them. I mean, there's one that my friends are putting on this March. And if it's still on, I don't know. It's like I can't remember the name. Cocodona.
250?
Yeah, 250. I would love to do that. And you've got like 5 days to do it. But I don't know. The cost is a little bit steep. I guess that's why I haven't done a lot of the traveling ones where you go somewhere.
And time. I mean, you run your own business. I mean,
Right.
everybody
Okay.
thinks, you know, you can take off anytime you want to, but
Pretty much. I
Doesn't
mean, that's
work
what
that
I
way.
tell everybody
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Some days you can't take off.
Yeah.
Sometimes
do you want to
gotta
talk a
make
little
sure
bit
you-
about the Ragnar series that you're so involved in with?
Several years ago. Well, I run across Ragnar
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
2013.
How'd you find Ragnar? Yeah.
I don't remember where I saw it or heard it. I just had heard the relay running for a longer distance because I never pictured running 100 miles by myself. I thought that's just ridiculous. But so I heard about Ragnar. At one time, there was a race that came across the Chief Ladiga Trail, Silver Comet Chief Ladiga, which was like a Dixie
Dixie 200. Yeah.
And I was looked into that one, and then that's when I run across Ragnar. Somebody told me about Ragnar. And so I didn't have a team to get on or a team that I was on. And so I just put my name out there, and this team picked me up, and I ran with them that year, and I ran with them several other years.
Same team, same people.
Same, you mix
Most,
it up,
yeah.
it changed a little bit. And then it's like I met people all over the United States that I've ran with, people from, Nevada and Arizona and Chicago, Canada. I got a buddy that runs with us from Canada. Pretty much all over the place now. And then I went from running with them to Mona had volunteered. If you run a race that's local, you have to provide a volunteer for your team for that race. And Mona had worked as our volunteer, and she got to talking to at the time, we didn't know it, but it was the owner's girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she told us, when you get home, you need to send me all your information and we'll get you working some of these races. Well, she did, and she worked a couple more, and then I got into working on like as a volunteer, but they paid all our expenses to get us wherever the race was and while we were there. So we did that a couple of years and then finally moved up into a contract position last year where I'm basically doing the same thing I was doing when I was volunteering, but just they pay me now to come out there.
Yeah.
And all my expenses. And
What is the group called? The volunteer group? It's
SWAT is a volunteer group.
SWAT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
SWAT, sweaty, wet, and tired is what the
Sweaty, Wet, and Tired. SWAT. Yes, I know that's what it was. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I filled all the information out for that before the summer of COVID, and then everything kind of got shut down. But they're making a comeback this year. Ragnar is the plan.
They are. I mean,
because they're running something in Florida. Florida.
Yes, pretty soon they've got a Miami Sprint, which is just a one-day race. They've actually added in a bunch of one-day races this year and cut out a lot of the road races, and they've still got a lot of the trail races. I think they got probably close to 30 races this year, but it's sort of like they're doing it on a limited budget, it seems like, because they've cut back on their paid contract workers.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of the, like the one-day races, they're just working that with just two people. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, two people going
Plus volunteers.
Right.
Yeah. Two.
I hope we get volunteers.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
But they're all trying to do the trail races because it's all confined.
Right.
You don't have to,
Yes, the trail races are, to me, easier to work because everything that you've taken off that truck is right there and you can put it back on the truck when it's time to go. Whereas the road races, you're spread out over 200 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got to wait for all that equipment to be brought in to the truck when the race is over before you can load it all on the truck.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You know, that, I mean, that premise of the road race, you know, we did the Bourbon Chase,
Mm-hmm.
and then we picked up some people. We picked up 3 in my van. I mean, that's a great way for somebody to get started. I mean, don't be afraid, because if I ever do another road Ragnar, I will just put my name out there and hope I join some team. And
Right.
then just, I mean, because that was more fun, because you don't see, we didn't get to see y'all, because there's 2 vans, 12 people, 6,
Yeah,
6 and
people,
6.
6 and 6.
So A van, B van, only time we saw them is when we exchanged when they would run their loops.
Right.
So, but I got to meet these 3 great guys from California,
Right.
which was outstanding. Yeah. I've actually talked to them a couple times just through the Facebook
Right.
thing. That was a lot of fun. Now the trail, Ragnar's. Yes, I think we made friends with everybody there. Because I think everybody in this room was there. Yes. Yeah.
So many.
Yeah. You know, sketchy Pete. Yeah.
Sketchy
Hey, Sketchy
Pete.
Pete. Yeah.
Sketchy Pete.
Yeah.
And then it went flat.
Yeah. Somebody took a nap. Woke up with a tent spike. But, you know, we won't get into that. Yeah. Why do you have that? I don't know.
I don't know.
Where did it come from? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
But here we are.
Yeah, that was probably that was the funnest team I've ever had for a Ragnar, and I've been on
Well, of course.
lots of them. And
Yeah, after we get off, we'll talk about that too, because it's coming up. When's Atlanta coming up?
April the 18th.
18th, yeah. We have conflicting issues going on that same weekend.
Yes, I knew there would be.
Yeah.
It's fine.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll discuss that
I don't.
after hours. Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. So 1, 2, 3. We can do an ultra. Like we make the ultra Ragnar. Yeah.
There you go. I've done that one time before with just 2 people.
Yeah, that's not as much fun.
Yeah, let's not do that.
It was a lot
What
tougher
happened?
than I thought it was going to be.
So are we plugged in?
Yeah.
You need battery?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Shut that down. We don't want to confuse the PC and the Apple. You know, that's like tornado. Yeah. We good?
Oh yeah, well, good. We didn't. I don't know the other guys, but power's off.
So, are we doing anything coming up in March at Lake Martin? You just gonna hang out? You gonna support? You gonna
I'm gonna be there.
run backwards? You gonna like try to break your leg and see if you can complete it? Something like that.
No, my goal at Lake Martin.
Always a
My
new
goal at
challenge,
Lake
right?
Martin is to see that everyone that's coming for a buckle that doesn't have one
Mhm.
finishes the thing. And I don't care if I have to pace 5 people on the last 7-mile loop, to get them there, whatever it takes.
Okay.
Is my goal at Lake Martin, because I know what it means to them. Some of them have tried longer than others, and it means a lot to get there.
Cool.
And it means a lot to have the support like I've had there. And sometimes feel like you need to give a little bit back.
Yeah, we'll have Camp Paloma there for sure because
Oh, yeah.
we'll have
Oh,
two
yeah. I'm coming in the 10th this time.
mobile tenements. Yes, so it'll be yes.
Keep your truck close by.
It'll be there.
Things can deteriorate.
Quickly, I've heard. Yes,
Well, it was a good time.
it was a good time.
We had someone like doing something. There was lots of people doing amazing that weekend. It was just to see like a stream of purple coming out of somebody, and they continue on.
Yes,
It was always impressive.
Well, I did walk out to the middle of the road to let that go. I didn't step in.
Maybe not.
maybe
Oh,
it,
well, I thought
he was-
I did.
he attempted to get closer to the road. Yes,
You
Yes.
yes, you had some intention.
I thought I went like 2 steps from the road to begin with.
we gave him 2 steps
Hmm.
towards the road.
Give me 2 steps.
Could be a song.
Mister.
Although it was like your lovely wife commented the next like, cheese, it's everywhere.
I'm not claiming anything on that whatsoever. Yeah,
Right.
it was good times. Yeah, I paced somebody there that weekend and then stayed up way too late.
Yeah.
It was chilly.
Yeah, but your wife
Had to
is
stay
really-
warm,
and
a little antifreeze.
supportive, like so. Like, how does Mona fit into your like running? Right.
She's the house mom of this group, is what that is. Yes.
She likes getting out and going.
Like RA, yes, that's her.
That might be the main part she likes about it. Getting out and going. She'd probably rather I wasn't gone as much, but then again, sometimes she'd probably rather I gone all the time.
Might be sometimes she says, "Hey, Don, don't you need to go run this weekend? Like
Yeah.
for a long
I'd
time,
do something.
like just go."
Yeah. A lot of times, if you've been married that long and all, a lot of times it makes it better for your marriage and all if you're not there all the time. If you
Mhm.
get out, each one goes and does what they want to do. She likes to shop, stuff like that. And I say, go, have fun.
Mhm.
Every now and then I'll try and support her if she's going to like REI or somewhere like
Yeah.
Academy or something like that. But,
How long you been married?
huh?
How long y'all been married?
37 years.
Right. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a rookie compared to that.
Yeah, I had an anniversary yesterday.
I saw
Did
that.
Can I interject? Did everybody remember this year?
No.
No.
No, not everybody remembered. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I
Now
saw.
I wasn't gonna bring that up. I was
Everybody.
just like, did everybody remember?
That's what I saw.
So
Everybody.
got track of time. Have you ever forgot your anniversary? Wedding anniversary.
I'm trying to think, but I don't remember ever forgetting it.
2 times?
Those.
Yeah.
I don't ever remember forgetting it. She'll probably correct me if I'm wrong on that. She probably kept up with it, but I don't remember ever missing it. I may have missed some Valentines or something, or
Yeah,
I
that
don't
just
know
comes
if
on
I've
the
ever missed her birthday.
same. Yeah. February 14th. Yeah. It's hard to remember.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that one. Yeah. Anniversary, yeah, it's different
Mr.
for everybody.
Valentine's.
Yeah, it's just Valentine's. Well,
I mean, it's just a made-up holiday to get guys to spend more money or something.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Get you a couple months after Christmas, so you have to go spend more money.
They finished taking
Someone
everything.
Wednesday nights like described it in an interesting way, like
Finished
National
taking
make you
everything
feel
back.
bad about being single day.
Yes. Yeah. Let's point out all the single people day. Yes. Yeah. So no Lake Martin, so you're just going to go support.
Mhm.
What's on your radar? What's coming up next for the Dawn?
Next Saturday.
Next Saturday,
Next Saturday.
like
All
a
right,
week
then.
from yesterday.
Saturday.
I've got a 50K in Georgia called Thrill in the Hills.
Okay.
All right. Then.
Mhm.
Alrighty.
So
Not familiar with that one.
I
Where?
just saw someone advertise it about a month or so ago, 2 months ago, on the Butts page.
Mhm.
And I thought, and I'm trying to branch out and do some, like Jack says, some other places that's still drivable.
Get out of the state. Yes.
Yeah, but I've actually got that's in Georgia. I've got 2 other races that I'm on the wait list for. Another one's in Georgia, the Georgia Jewel, and then or is it Cruel Jewel?
Well, it could be one of these.
It could. Yeah.
Both
The answer is
valid
yes.
choices.
Yeah.
Both
I think it's Cruel Jewel. I'm on the wait list for that, and then I'm on the wait list for No Business 100, and that's up in Kentucky, where you run in Kentucky and Tennessee.
So the Cruel Jewel, is that the one that's conflicting with Ragnar Trail?
No, that's
That's
Double Top.
Double Top. Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it shows how much I pay attention to my cohort.
And then, of course, I've got Penn Hody. That's would be the month or a couple weeks after No Business if I get it. I've got
A couple weeks.
Whoa. So
You said a couple weeks or a couple months?
couple weeks.
So we're going to do 100, No Business 100, then we're going to do 100 in a couple weeks. So
I think
you'll
so.
be prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be ready because I'm not going to run in between the 2.
Where's No Business 100?
I think it's usually like a couple weeks before.
No, where is it?
Oh, it's in Kentucky, but it's from Kentucky. It's not up in between the lakes. I don't think. I'm not sure, but it
That's why
goes into Tennessee and then back to Kentucky, or vice versa.
Okay.
It may be in Tennessee and go into Kentucky and then back to Tennessee. It's too far out to.
Yeah, there's no reason to know. I mean, he needs
I thought that one was in Arkansas. It's like that's
only if we had a small device that we carry around all the time that we could check and see.
Well, I did.
That would be
look it up to
amazing.
see where it
Where's the
was.
microfiche at?
Yeah, yes. And cards.
Bob Waters has ran it the last several years, and that's how I heard about No Business.
Yeah, no,
I'm in
he's
the Barkley Fall Classic. That's in
September.
September. I'm in that one. I'm going out to Leadville to support
Yep.
some of our guys.
sponsorship opportunity.
in August.
All right, then.
That would, yes, because we
That's
got
my schedule so far. Sometimes I throw other stuff in. Yeah. And the Smile might jump in there again this year.
It is an experience. Yeah, the loop timed events are a different experience. I'll probably just go help and pace again. I mean, I got an unofficial 50K just running with people just between Saturday and Sunday morning. I'm like, yeah, hey, look at that. Wow.
That's what we were-
No wonder my feet are tired.
So you gotta have a balance. Like this up, you really, if you just pick them up on bonus, that's great. But kind of like trying to pace and just like poach miles or like a distance is
Mhm.
kind of crappy. And I've done it before, so
Yeah. No, I was at least running with other people. I just didn't just like, bandit.
No,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't, man. Like, but it's like you go out there with like, yeah, I want to run 25 or 50s. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And it's not. If you're a pacer, you should be all about the person you're supporting.
Mhm.
So that's where it gets like.
It worked out pretty well. I had 2 there when I was pacing this time.
Mhm.
So I would take one out, and while the other one would sleep. And then sometimes we would all 3 go, and then I'd let one of them go. And yeah,
Then you was cooking all that in between.
I was cooking between, and I was helping David with timing between. So yeah, it was.
Yeah, around the clock and cooking.
I've not been to that, but I had one experience at a place where they were doing a loot course event, like a last man standing, and the atmosphere at that race was nothing like it ever. Like David Tosh would have like had his hair on fire. It was. Whoa, this is almost like to the other extreme. Like,
Very, very serious.
I was like, well, it's not French, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wasn't being buddies. They weren't. Yeah,
No,
they weren't excited to see the aid station again. No.
Yeah, it was like it was a sad.
Well, that's one of the things I found coming from road racing to trail racing. I mean, I found road racing, besides one thing not having great scenery, as you got in the trail, is it seemed like everybody was sort of antisocial, or it's like the aid station. All it was a bunch of cups, but they were filling up with a hose pipe, and
But they are every mile or two, though, Jeff.
yeah,
2 miles in the big races every two.
a quarter mile or something like that. But
Yeah.
the trail running, it's like everybody talks to everybody.
Mhm.
Everybody's out there to help each other out. I mean, you could be 20 miles out on a trail somewhere and run up on somebody that needs help, and you might have something that they need. And everybody usually say, hey, can I help you? I got salt, I got goo, I got whatever it is.
You
And it
hand
don't
them a
matter
water
who
bottle,
you
you
keep
hand them
it.
diesel, whatever, and you'll eventually get it back.
Oh yeah, and it don't
somebody
matter
or
if they're
somebody
your
else.
competition or whatever it is. I mean, everybody's like out there to help each other out, and you didn't get that in trail running. It's like the only people that talked to you in trail running was like,
And road running.
I mean, there you go, road running. Sorry, was the people that you finished with or sort of competed with every race, and it wasn't like, I mean, I knew the guys that finished in the top 2 or 3. There's a friend of mine that lives in Springville, but it's sort of like once the race is over, they hang out with the people they finish with.
The fast kids, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the same way, even with my group, I hung out with the old people that I finished with. So, or raced
Experienced
with
people.
Uh-huh.
Experienced people.
Raced with every week.
Yeah. Like unofficially, I probably have known Don the longest between any of us because of Beast Pacing back when they were doing that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we actually ran into each other, not knowing each other.
Oh yeah.
And we realized that probably a year or two later. It's like, man, we've run together for a long time because
that's true.
Yeah, because I guess Montgomery.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Big Beach. You do Big Beach down there?
I haven't done Big Beach.
Okay.
I think Montgomery was probably one of the main ones.
Yeah, memories come up, and then we're all standing there like holding our little pacing signs, and like, hey, that's Don. Hey, that's Mike. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember those.
Yeah. You have any interest in doing that again if the summer of COVID ever ends?
I enjoyed pacing. The last one I did was in Tupelo, and it was a good race, but they had the route messed up, so then I had to try and adjust.
Yes.
It was a great course, pretty fast, and I was doing an easy pacing. I don't mind that. It's
fine. I enjoy doing the pacing, the half marathon.
I wished I was in a group where you finish with more people than what you finish with. It's sort of like I was, whatever, I don't remember what time I was at. I might have been at 2 hours or something like that for a half or something.
2's the biggest one I've the most because people want to hit that number.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's why I was
and you'll have people on you the whole time.
For a half marathon.
If you do 2:15, I'm like just a lot of times I'm just holding the sign. But there's people chasing you the whole time and they'll find you afterwards. I'm like, thanks, man. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. It's like I had several that was with me, and then they decided that we wasn't going fast enough, and they took off. And
yeah, there's always some old dude that tells you you're pacing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, weren't you a little fast?
Well,
yes, asshole. We're 30 seconds above the clock.
Well, I was actually when they messed up our mileage, or they didn't send us on the right turn, so we missed a turn. So then they added it back at the end when they realized they had messed up. And I'm seeing their mile markers is not matching what I'm seeing. So I'm trying to figure out where I need to be at. And then I think, heck, we're going to be way ahead. And then when they threw that loop back in at the end, then I'm thinking, okay, so I'm supposed to be running 9-minute miles. And then I thought, well, now we're going to have to drop it down to an 8.5-minute mile. But
yeah, come on, guys.
Yeah, I think at that time, no one was with me anymore anyway. They had all either went on ahead or dropped
back, yeah.
Because it was probably in the last 4 miles, 3 or 4 miles. So that part might not have been about 2 miles.
Yeah. Are you running any roads at all, or do you just go straight trails now? Just training wise?
Other training wise, I'm still on roads because up in Springville, we don't have trails. Or we got some.
It's an overdevelopment is what it is.
There's trails out there, but you don't go out there during hunting season.
Yeah, gotcha. Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely. High vis.
Right, they're not like designated.
You're not going to lean up against a tree, start scratching your back.
I would say, son, maybe it's changed, but I don't recall super like wide, like like pedestrian areas on the end of the road in Springville. Like they're kind of like there's a line and there's like 6 inches of asphalt and then there's like a ditch.
Right. That's the way most of it is. I do most of my running up in a subdivision and then up and down the sidewalks in Springville. You can get out on 11 and go towards Argo, which is towards Birmingham. And they do have a wider shoulder on that part since they had redone the road. If you get any further than Argo, though, going on towards Trussville, you got a little bit of shoulder there, but it's that ground up stuff. So you got the holes,
The
little rumble
thing.
strips
Yeah.
down the side of
Yes.
the road. So it's not good for running, unless you're trying to trail run.
It's all part of the experience.
Mhm.
Do you do anything other than run? Do you do any kind of cross training? Because I know a guy, but do you ride a bike? Do you, other than work? I mean, you do a very physical job. I mean, you frame houses.
Yeah, that's
You go up and down ladders.
the most
Sometimes
cross training I
faster
get
down,
something down. And
sometimes
I was
than
thinking
up.
the other day, I thought, of course, and the whole time you going up and down ladders and around, you got a nail apron on that's probably weighs 30, 40 pounds or something if it's loaded down.
Yeah.
It might not weigh that much. It just sure seems like it does. But
Well, the goal of that though is make it lighter as you go, right?
yes, I
Yes.
mean, you start out and you fill it up and then you run out of the nails as you go.
Yeah.
I don't do that much anymore. All I got in mind is a tape measure and a square and a pencil because I let everybody else tote the nails around. But
Whoa. You can read a tape measure. This is antiquated. I mean, yes. Whoa, yeah.
me,
Yes. Is that one of your difficulties finding people be able to like pull a tape and look at it and then be able to read it?
do we really
Sign of the
wanna go
times.
there?
Yeah.
Do we really want to go
Know
there?
what a fraction is?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I saw something somebody posted the other day on Facebook that said teachers do everybody a favor and teach the kids how to read a tape measure. And it was showing the 16ths and the 8ths and stuff,
30
just in the
seconds.
inch part.
Yeah.
1/16, 1/8, 5/8, 16ths.
Well, it really is a great way to learn fractions.
Right. And
But then they have to use it. That's the problem. Well, the reason I bring that up, we had a discussion the other day at the gym. People aren't exposed to analog anything anymore. Like kids, you go into the school systems now, they don't have analog clock. It's all digital clocks.
right.
So if you tell somebody clockwise, do they really know what that means?
The only people in the community, the hipsters, love the turntables. Man. They're still buying vinyl, man, and they're
So is it
on.
So they
So-
won't know they won't know clockwise, but they'll know LP wise.
Yeah.
LP wise? Yes. And if we go backwards, it's Satan.
Yeah.
My road sheep are perfect. Oh, that's not the right way.
Well, it's like I tried to hire someone last week because I need all the help I can get right now. I've got really basically 4 guys that work for me. I did have 6, now I'm down to 4. And if I had 3 crews that size, I could keep every one of them busy. So I tried to hire a couple of people last week. And I was told that this person had went through 4 years of carpentry at the trade school. And first thing I do when they get out there, I said, well, pull your tape across there and start marking the 16 inches. And they looked at me like, huh? What are you talking about? I said, 16, 32, 48,
Stud on centers, right?
Yeah. And they still looked at me. I said, well, just put a mark everywhere you see a red mark on your tape measure. Just put me a mark at every red mark on your tape measure. But then I knew right off they hadn't taken 4 years. I had a pretty good idea. And then I found out what trade school they went to. And so I asked, and come to find out they had only had like 1 semester of carpentry.
Even still.
Even still, Don, I think you got to read that.
Can you say 16? Don't have to spell it. Just 16. You know
Well, I
what?
mean, it all starts with
Theater.
you measure twice, you cut once. How do you get to the part where you cut if you can't measure?
But I've cut this 3 times and it's still too short.
Yeah. I can't get it to that longer measurement. I feel like I could. I mean, I can teach people how to do stuff or how to learn all that stuff if I could just get them out there. That's another one of the problems I've had with people nowadays is just getting them to come to the job or getting them to show up.
Grown men show up. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I mean, that's one of the things they teach you in college. I mean, you're going to fail if you don't show up. And it's the same way out here at work or anything you do, you don't show up. I mean, I can't win a race or can't finish a race if I don't show up.
That's right. You don't get a time if you don't show up.
You can't figure out what you got to do to get to the finish of the race if you don't show up.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's right.
That should be a quote from somebody.
Somebody.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So
Maybe it's from Freight. You need to trademark that quick.
No, wouldn't be.
So that's like the biggest thing is just getting somebody out there. I mean, the problem with that person was I thought they knew more than what they did. And I was going to be able to turn them loose to doing a little bit more than just lumber toting. Because that's where you're going to start at if you don't know anything. It's just carrying lumber. And
Boring job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're exposed to a lot of learning opportunities.
Yeah. Oh, you'll learn. If you stay out there long enough, you'll learn it. I mean, I've had guys we had a guy that worked with us, and he went on to work with USA Concrete. And he told me for 2 or 3 years, he said, that's the best thing he ever did was work with us. And he said when his son got old enough, he was coming to work for me. He was going to send him out there to work for me. So
Like that blends into your success of ultra running is the work ethic of like, you got to show up first.
Yeah.
And then you got to do the work, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Then you gotta
it's really,
keep going.
and keep going. Yes.
That's what I tell everybody, keep going.
Yeah. I mean, it's like if you're framing a house, it's like, yeah, I'm tired. I'm going to stop. No. Yeah. It's just, yeah.
It's not a house yet.
No.
You're not done.
Well, I mean, we don't work a real tough schedule, not as tough as it was when I was growing up. My dad would have us out there from daylight to dark. I mean, that's the way you worked, daylight to dark. And I don't know if it's just my old age or the guys that work for me, they're getting old also, because I had 2 guys, a guy that's with me 16 years and a guy that's been with us for over 20 years. And we decided we was going to cut our hours back to like 6.5 hours instead of 8. And I guess just because it's tough work, especially in the summertime. It's hot and all. So.
And there's ladders involved.
Yeah.
Like bring up things.
Sometimes you have to leave early because of ladders.
So now, were you using nail guns when you started, or were you hammering when you started?
We were hammering, hand driving everything when we started. We didn't have nail guns. You would basically get something tacked into place like the subfloor, and then everybody just grab a pouch full of nails and start nailing. Same way with the decking. That's the 2 I remember taking the longest was nailing the subfloor and the decking because there was so many nails. Then my dad bought some, because I was working for my dad at the time, he bought some nail guns. With them being new and all, he was sort of scared of us using them except for shooting the flooring because we're holding it straight down or nailing the decking because you're nailing straight down. And he had some other work that I'll talk about in just a second that he was going off on. And while he was gone, I was running the crew and we used the nail guns to nail the walls and everything together. And he comes back and said, man, y'all went pretty good while I was gone. So then we had to tell them we used the nail guns for everything. So we've used them ever since then. And now you've got a nail gun for everything. It don't matter if you're nailing felt down or whatever it is.
Quarter round, everybody's
Oh yeah, everything. Trim guns. And it sort of seems like some of it's moving now to battery operated instead of air for the nail guns. If they can make them where they'll work as fast as air, I don't see why everybody will not go to the
dragging the hose anymore. Yes.
Oh yeah, you know that's something you got to maintain. The air compressor you've got to drag around and maintain.
But Don, if you were like hand nailing everything, you had to work. Like,
Dusk till dusk.
Yeah, to get to the same place. That is true. That's true. I mean, people come out. Our crew has been to most of my crew there for a long time had worked together so long. It's like nobody says hardly anything during the day. It's everybody knows what they're doing. Everybody does it. Everybody, if you're cutting or whatever, you know what you're cutting. If you're nailing, you know what you're nailing. If you're toting, you know what you're toting, or where it goes. And so, like you said, if things are going smooth, it works like it.
You get 10 hours done in 6.5.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, like the two people that came and worked with me last week, that worked 2 days. I don't know if it was just because of what they went through those 2 days, but if they caught on real quick that wasn't what they wanted to do. It's tougher than what, Mona gives me a hard time all the time about only working 6.5 hours. Basically, we work straight through lunch, and so we're off at 1 o'clock or 1:30. And she don't like that I get all this free time in the afternoons, but usually it's not free time. Usually I'm busy doing something else.
You got to run sometime.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
you
right.
gotta
Got
be able to run.
sometime, and I start out too early. Or I feel like I start too early in the morning working to run before that. So
I tell you, Don, like I've had some friends that had like trade jobs, either like doing this or that, and it's hard to go run after you've worked your ass
Yes.
all day long, right? It is hard, man. It's like I always give them, like, anyone who does that, it's like you're a badass, man, because most people say
Badassery, see?
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
badassery, yes.
It's true, but it's
the
like
first time I heard that word was in Ragnar, so I've heard it for a long time, but I don't know who said it. Somebody on one of the teams I was on or something, that's calling everybody that, each other that. So
I think the thing is, like, people like worked hard. Like, I hadn't. Of course, people were eating smaller portions. They were that fat. They were like, it's different things happening.
I think a lot of it's just however hard you had to work growing up and stuff, goes into a lot of it. And I don't know.
So did Don share that Ragnar wanted to hire him full time?
He didn't share that. He is contract. He said he was contract working with him. Yeah.
When I talked when he was getting one of those jackets,
Yeah.
I was chatting him and Mona up, and Mona shared said, "Oh yeah, he said this Ragnar, like, they wanted to go to Utah.
Yeah.
That's where he'd be based out of Utah." I was going,
Yeah.
like, trail runner guy goes,
Yeah.
skier guy goes, well, yes, let's go to Utah or Wyoming or Colorado or.
That would have been detrimental though during the COVID summer.
Yeah,
This
it would
is
have been
before
tough
that. This
this
is
year
like-
because it's slim this year. I mean, I got lots of friends that got laid off, and of course, I visited several of them down in Florida a couple months ago, and one of them told me that if they called her, she said, "I'd just leave everything I got here and go right back to them." She said, "I'd leave all my stuff, my bicycle, my car, whatever." I mean, she loved it, and I think it's a real good business to work for. It seemed like they have a lot of fun.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Don they wanted Don to come out there
Right.
to like trail. That's like we'd say, like it's great here, but it's an upgrade.
It is. I mean, we're fortunate, but yeah, it's an upgrade. Yes.
But I think this is where Don and you come together, because Don ain't going because it's families.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I stayed and run the family business. Not that I hated it or anything.
No.
I don't know. A lot of it's, you think, probably out of respect, They put a lot in it teaching you that, and I've done good with it. And so basically that's probably one of the main things, just staying with family, instead of moving out and leaving family.
And he couldn't be in God's country on Sunday afternoon doing a Paloma cast.
There you go.
I mean,
probably would have never met you.
We have to do it like over Zoom. No, I mean,
Which adds a layer of technology that I don't think we can.
No. Look, we struggle now.
Well,
We just got
everything's got a
podcasts.
reason, and I wouldn't have met all of y'all.
I
if
guess
I'd
we got
been in
timed out
Colorado
on
or
Instagram.
Utah. If I'd been in Utah, I wouldn't have met all of y'all, and that would have been, this is the best group I think I've ever been with.
You couldn't live with yourself if you didn't know us.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, just,
So
Lord.
And I'm telling you, man, I was with Mona, because Mona's like, We should have gone. We met some cool friends out there. Oh, Carl Messler, come on.
Yeah, I'm sure we probably would have.
But we're glad we met you.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah. All right, now it's time. Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you came in hot early in the podcast, but we do have just the tip.
Okay.
Okay, it can be about running, it could be about life, it could be about reading tape measure correctly, knowing where fucking 16 inches
Yeah.
is to frame a wall, but just the tip. If you had to give somebody just the tip, what would it be?
As far as running goes, the best advice I can give someone is to get around some good friends, some good running friends, because they're going to know what you're going through. A lot of times, or most of the time, they can help you get past the obstacles that come up. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. They've been around you long enough to know that, hey, he's been through this before. He's done this before, and they know what to tell you to get you past whatever the obstacles are. That's the best advice I can give you, is to get around some good running friends.
I mean, it's really good advice. Like, get around good people.
Kind of like what you do at your work, right?
Yeah.
Give good people. It makes it.
And that's sponsorship opportunity too. Good people.
There you go.
And every week, guys.
Every
we're
week.
sponsoring you. It should be
Yes.
reversed.
Yes, we are sponsoring you. All right. It's awesome having you out here.
Oh,
Appreciate
I loved it.
Yes.
It went by pretty quick.
Yes.
You're doing good.
Everything's fun when you
You
or
done good on
everything
your questions.
goes fast. Well, I don't know about that.
I thought you done good. Kept us going.
All right. Peace out.
Oh, we're doing peace signs.
Yeah, man. I want to
That's not the
Hey.
that's not the DC code.